Okay.
You know, they talked about it that exactly in the book. What Alex is doing,
Yeah.
driving in.
It's Alejandra.
Oh, what a pretty picture.
Uh-huh.
Are you gonna have to show me how to do that,
What? Have you just put one picture?
Eliana?
Gotta snap your neck back.
Snap. I can put my picture when I was in Greece wearing my banana hammock.
Really? No, please no. Yeah.
Hello?
Do we know if Nilda's gonna? Hi, Ileana.
Hi. Oh, I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me?
Yeah.
Is it,
that
can
it?
everybody else hear me? Alejandro says yes.
Oh,
Dan,
there
you
we
can
go.
hear us fine?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Nilda usually joins us. Do you know if Nilda's gonna join? She's not gonna join? Okay. And I know Priscilla.
She's,
getting her
she's
hair-
right next to me. She can hear us.
I can hear for the next
Okay.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, I think this is gonna be it. Julie, are you joining? Okay, Julie's coming. And Peo, show how much notes you have.
A bunch.
Peo has a bunch of notes.
Oh,
Don't take my notes.
Can you hold that closer?
Hey, Dan, I think Alex said he found the book online.
Yeah, it's there. You can get the PDF, you know. I've got
Yeah.
it sitting here beside me. Yeah, it's
Okay,
absolutely available.
Yeah, I have a PDF too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's available there, no problem. It's a good book too.
We don't want to have to have you go and buy the book, dude. Just, there's definitely PDFs all the time.
Oh yeah,
Or on,
oh yeah.
On
I'm
YouTube,
just a
yeah,
little
but
bit
you-
old school, you know. I kind of love having it in my hands where I can flip back and forth. I know that's a little bit old tech, but I kind of like it that
And I
way.
don't even know if that's considered old school. My 14-year-old, I told him I want him to read this one book, and he's like, okay, get me the book. I said, no, you're gonna do it on Audible. He's like, oh, I can't do that. So and he's 14, and he's telling me I just can't do it that way. I have to have
Right.
the book. I'm like, okay, I'll get you the book. So
Everybody's a
I
little
got
bit different on how they
Yeah.
like to learn.
learning style for sure. So
I was gonna say, why is Ileana frozen? But it's a
Ileana's
picture.
frozen. She's frozen like that.
Hi,
Okay.
Julie.
Well, let's start. Yeah, everybody's here. I think everybody's gonna be here. Is gonna be here. Priscilla asked me to record it, so she'll catch up with us. And it was only chapters 4 through 6. I'm not sure why I put a 9, but if y'all read all the way through 9, then you're ahead, so that's great. But I think we need to keep it to about 3 chapters, just so we can, like, I will listen to it a couple of times because I do Audible. And for me, it's better for me to go back and re-listen to it to make sure like I'm really grasping and I didn't miss anything, because I could have been multitasking while I was listening, and so tend to miss a few things here and there. But so the beginning of the chapter 4 about not everything matters equally, and he goes into talking about how we put equal value to everything, and then we get bombarded with a bunch of things to do. And that he made a couple of references in there about being like a pinball machine where we're going all over the place and never actually making the goal. And another one that stuck in my head that immediately this video came to mind was about being stuck in a horror movie,
Mhm.
right? Running up everywhere.
Mhm.
So I wanted to start with the sharing of this video first. Let's see here. I'm gonna rewind it real quick. Smart.
Mhm. Commercial.
So I just thought of that video when he said that, because, you know, you have so many places where choices, and as far as you, like, when you start doing your to-do list, you get bombarded, and then
We're
you,
thinking about what's ironic in this situation.
Oh.
Their expectations are set. We see they're in a dangerous situation, and there seems to be an out.
oh, somebody's actually talking about it.
What happens with this guy suggests the opposite
I know.
of what is the correct choice. It redirects them from a very safe choice to what is a terrible choice. It's like a very dangerous choice. Let's go hang out by the chainsaws.
Okay, let me get out of there. All right. So, yeah, going back to basically you get trapped doing other things and not actually focusing on the most important things, giving everything, every single task equal importance. And I just thought of that video when he referenced that in the movie, that, I mean, in the book, that we can act like characters in a horror movie running all over the place. So, Pepe, you have any input on that?
Yeah. Remind myself there. I'm doing that.
Oh, Flor's here. Hey, Flor.
Morning.
Morning.
On chapter 4, the thing that stuck out the most to me
We're in
was
chapter 1. I'm chapter 4. Yes, chapter 4. See what happens?
yeah. So on chapter 4, what sticks out the most to me was the fact that they talked about the 80-20 rule, which was, you know, it kind of leads back to the 80-20 number that we always talked about, that 80% of the work is done by 20% of the realtors. And when he states that in his book in chapter 4, it just kind of surprised me that it was even there, even being talked about. And later on during the chapter, the guy, I forgot the name of the rule, he called it the something rule, but
Pareto.
yeah, and he said that rule eventually equates to everything in life, and I'm like, holy shit. So, you know, like I said, it brought me back to the 20% of the realtors do 80% of the work. So when he said that it could be everybody and everything in the world, it kind of helped me understand it, because it lays true into what I'm used to knowing and stuff. And one of the things that I misunderstood when I was hearing the book, is he wants you to forget about the list and take one thing on that list and concentrate on doing that one thing. I had a real hard problem with that because I'm all over the place all the time. So it was difficult for me to understand it, but now after I talked to Erica a little bit about it, and then I reread it, it doesn't necessarily mean to forget everything else. It's telling you to do that one thing that's the most important for you for that day. Concentrate on doing that one most important thing. Once you finish that important thing, go on to the next most important thing. And then by the end of the day, you know, you have your list, and you'll be done with everything on the list. So he's not necessarily saying forget everything on the list. He's saying do your list, do what's highest priority, knock that thing out. Put all your effort to that, as opposed to you jumping around from this to that, which is, I think, the next chapter. Concentrate on that and knock it out, and then everything else will seem to go into what would just kind of fall into place.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so the Pareto principle is the 20% of your effort gives you 80% of your results. But she also talked about that can change. It could be 10% of your efforts gives you 90% of your results, and so forth. It depends on the activities that you're doing, right? What activities are the ones that will give you the most, I guess, bang for your buck type, if you would say it that way. And so for us as realtors, what activities would fall under that 20%? So if you have a list, because I know I have a list, and I've always picked out the things that I have to do now, but sometimes there's a hard thing that this one's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be, but I have to do it because it's gonna make me money. And sometimes I do tend to put that one a little further down the list, but it should be the first thing that I do because it's the hardest. And so you really do start with your hardest task first. And once you get that over, everything is like super easy to do. So 20% of activities, what would that mean for us in real estate? So for you, let's see, Flor. Can you unmute yourself, Flor? Hi, she's like, hi, they're picking on me. So in real estate, and you have you start your day, what would be the activities that would fall in your 20% to give you 80% of your results? Let's just say for that one day.
I just call my prospects or sphere of influence, because it's hard at times. I'm hesitant and I'm trying to get a structure. I'm trying to learn from you. And just to begin with, I haven't even red, burn, white hair, wash hair, whatever.
You
But
look fantastic.
thank you. Ya me bañé como eso. So anyways, I'm trying to follow up with you, and to be honest, I haven't read the book. I'm just here for the chips. No, what you bring on, and I need to really create a structure. So the first one is just to call or text whoever prospects. That's the first thing, because I'm hesitant and I'm like, oh, no sé qué están haciendo. I don't know what they're doing. Is it the right time and all that? So I'm just trying to get some type of structure here following this.
Okay, and that would be correct. For instance, for us, the most important thing is lead generating, because if we have no leads, we're not generating and converting those leads into prospects and then clients and then closed sales, right? So that's our success would be that closed sale. So 20% of whatever you have to do, if you have to send an email or go put up, go deliver something. I mean, there's so many things. Oh, I have to update my back agent, or I have to do this, but you have 3 leads that came in, and you have to update your back agent or organize your email. Yeah, those can sit there. Okay, you need to focus on the leads first, especially if it's a referral, right? So those would be the most important, to make those phone calls. And sometimes it depends on the lead. If it's an online lead, those sometimes are the hardest leads to get to, or not to get to, but to convert, because they're cold, right? So you have to warm them up. So I would start with that. And then, but make sure you get all your leads. And also marketing. So setting up a continuous routine to market yourself on social media. And we all know that is the #1 way to market yourself, is through Facebook, right? I sent Dan that one flyer. I'm gonna share it with everybody. I have it. But it states that is the #1 way to get your marketing out, is through the social media avenues. So setting up that routine, that I would say the marketing part, figuring out what content, or if you've already set it up, that would be priority over organizing emails or getting your forms into back agent, all that stuff, because that can wait. But that marketing part for the day, that's going to be priority. So I would say those are a couple of things that fall under the 20% that would get you. Because if you just posted that day about something and engaged with people on Facebook, which is the same thing as lead generating, it's marketing, then that could give you 2 or 3 clients. So there you go. There's your results. That's what you want. So those are the activities. But what other activities would you say, Robert, that we could do besides the
For marketing?
the lead generating, meeting clients?
One of the things is that I know I fall short on, because I have been wanting to do this for a long time, is adding our birthdays to our database. So, I mean, we have a database, we've got 2,000 people in our database, but obviously I can't do all of them at one time, but you have to set the time to enter them. And what I'd like to do is be able to send them a personalized birthday card. So that way they receive a handwritten birthday card, or something at least from us on their birthday saying, man, they remembered my birthday. That's an important, or an anniversary. So those types of things. And you can kind of Facebook stalk people and put in those anniversaries when you see them. They celebrate an anniversary on this day. So one of the things that I want to do to improve our marketing is send an additional birthday card to them, because they already receive a newsletter from us. And they, we're top of mind. Every month they get something, so they see us. But sending out a birthday card or an anniversary card, I think that would be even more special to them, because they see that we have recognized that event and remember it. And I think it's important. So that one part of lead generating is what I know I want to do for us to improve our business.
Which Erica has that on send out cards. I
Right.
usually put in the birthday
Mhm.
when we get like the seller info.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I used to make it, I used to try to take a photo of their ID when they go to the title company and they're giving the information. So they give it to the notary. And
Tucker?
I'll always look, yeah, I'll take a picture of it, or I'll try to memorize it. Honestly, I do. I will put a note, because I don't want to take a picture in front of them. They're like, why in the hell are they taking a picture of my ID? So I look at the IDs, I try to remember the date in my head. And so I'm right there, like typing in on the notes, Señor Francisco, this date of birth, this. And then I have to go back into our database to be able to enter the information. So that is definitely with send out cards. It's one thing that we try to do. And sometimes I have the reminders 2 days before, 3 days before, so that way it goes out and can get there in time.
And I
So
think it sends you an email, doesn't it?
To tell you that this
Yeah,
birthday's
that
coming
the
up.
birthday's coming up.
So let's say that you get, as a realtor, you're organizing your day, because I always make some time in the morning to organize, like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, I have this big old list of things to do, but these are the most important. So I'm basically picking these out or highlighting them, and that's my success list, right? This is what I can get to today, and I'm gonna make sure I do it, because if I end the day and I don't do it, I will be hard on myself, like, oh, I didn't do it, I'll be mad. So if I get an email saying that so-and-so's birthday is coming up, then a very important thing that would fall under that 20% is to call that person. If I can't call the person or they don't answer, text them, look them up on Facebook, wish them a happy birthday. We're probably already sending them something in the mail, but this is just an extra step that is not going to take very much time, actually, but it falls under that 20% of activity that will give you a result, because they're going to remember, oh, she remembered me on my birthday, and that will result in referrals, right? And it's just maintaining and watering your client relationship. And that is a lot. That is very important, a very important part. And I know that for most of you, I showed you the Kevin Ward video about time management and what activities you should be doing. And that really much hits it, right there, what you should be doing and what could wait. So as far as your administrative stuff, definitely pick some time during the day, block some time and get that done. But you got to focus on the most important activities. And I think this is what the 80-20 Pareto principle falls in our business life. Now you apply that to all basically parts of your life, or what is the most important in my health or my family. And then you sort of, because there's a lot of things going on, right? But if it has to do, for instance, in family, of organizing the garage versus going to a baseball game with your children, well, you're going to go to the garage can wait. Right? The children cannot wait, because they're only getting older, and we all know how fast they're growing. So that is going to be the most important there. But for someone that's not in real estate related, Ileana, what would you say? How would you say this principle applies to you? Se durmió.
Hello, no, I had to unmute myself. So the 80-20 principle.
Yes.
So like it's 20% of the effort, right?
Yes. Gives you 80%
Okay.
of your results. Mhm.
Applying for jobs. Because I don't have a job right now. So that's not much effort. So that would be 20% of my effort, but that would get me my results that I need.
You need. Yeah, exactly. And as far as like when I know she's studying or you're still going to school. So how do you break up your time and applying it, or which subject first? Or I'm sure you have multiple classes. How do you organize that and applying the 20%, 20-80 Pareto?
Oh yeah, I usually do the harder classes first. So but I do break it down. Like I do the readings, and then I move on to a small part of the assignment. And then it's just like little step by step, like that.
Okay. But you do see how it could, the principal, you probably were doing it, didn't even know, right? But
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
be, yeah. Awesome. Okay. Alex, you want to share anything on that?
I mean, I think you guys hit it. Basically, the way to go about it is like, you just kind of have to prioritize what brings you probably the most business and then try and do that first. That's how I go about it. So I try to prospect every day. And then I guess what I could do better that I really have been putting off is the marketing aspect. I haven't been doing it as well as I probably should be. So that's probably something I could work on.
Yes.
And put more out there, maybe I really want to make more interactive videos, but then also you start thinking, oh, well, you got to record and then you got to make a post about it. So obviously I'm putting it off because
it's hard.
It's hard. And it's something that I should probably be doing when there's like some downtime and I'm like looking for, that extra email maybe I have that may contain somebody telling me, hey, this is somebody that, when I'm searching for leads, I could be using some of that time to, market as well, because that's one aspect that I haven't been hitting, that I keep putting off because I just feel it's too much effort.
It's too, yes, and it will. And so when we have the next meeting on Tuesday, the LP Mama, I was going to go through LP Mama and then talk about setting up for our I guess sales marketing blitz, a whole buyer seminar. I'm not sure how to name it yet.
Yeah.
And in that, I also wanted to start talking about each individual, our marketing plans come together. Like, what are you going to do? And then maybe how we can help each other push that effort forward.
Absolutely.
Is maybe even hiring Dorian to come a day and everybody gets dressed up and then you shoot some videos, and something, or we go over out to the communities with the new homes or whatever, whatever video idea. So start thinking about those type of ideas and writing them down. But that's just chapter 4. We haven't talked about the other chapters yet, but I think some homework for chapter 4 would be write down what activities, and then we're going to organize those to figure out which ones we're going to hit. Obviously, marketing is going to be, I would say, at the top of my list,
Yeah.
right? And then, until we can apply this principle to get our business going. And then let's see. Dan, did you have anything or your biggest takeaway from chapter 4?
No, actually, I just missed the homework assignment that you were giving us there. I missed something there. What was it you wanted us to do?
Oh, make a list of the 20%, what activities fall under the 20%, right? Put them all together.
Okay.
And then when we come together next Tuesday, we'll talk about those activities and
Okay.
try to help one another to be accountable, push each other let's get the hard ones done. So that way everything else will just fall into place. Where the rest of
Okay.
it will be super easy. Yeah. Okay.
And then, not to interrupt, a question for that seminar that we're going to be having. You said that's going to be for like first-time home buyers, like what to expect, what to prepare for when it comes to okay, great.
And give them a reality of what the real, the market.
I already started telling my friends, so.
Oh,
I'm
awesome.
gonna have friends tuning in.
Awesome. So we'll start working on that and then set a date. I have a date in mind. We'll get that for sure. Let's see here. And then so let's move on to chapter 5, which is multitasking. So who here multitask? Yeah, we all do. And it does take away from everything that you're trying to do. And then you don't end up doing everything, or you do it, but it's like halfway. You weren't fully engaged in everything. And I know I'm guilty of that. And one of the multitasking things that we tend to not applying it to business directly, but when we bring in our business into our family life and we're trying to have like a family dinner, but then we're like on our phone, that's multitasking because our attention is divided. I'm partly here, I'm partly here, I'm partly. So that's one of the big things about stopping that. And the only way in our business that you will be able to really focus is like, if it's your hardest task, like for instance, you have, like I put together maybe content for your video, the verbiage, all that, you could get going and then your phone's going on, right? And it's not just text messages, it's social media, this, oh, news break, all this is put your phone on do not disturb. That's gonna be the only way. And I know it's hard because there's a fear of missing out. Oh, we're gonna miss out on something. But FOMO, yeah, but believe me, it's gonna be there. It's not like you're gonna take a whole day. You're just blocking a couple of hours to get this done, right? So then when you finish, then you go to your phone and you text, you text back or you answer back. We're not doctors. So there's not a patient that's dying on the table that we have to drop everything to go running to, close up that wound. We're in real estate, so everything, it is time of an essence, but 30 minutes, an hour, that's not gonna make a break at something, really is not. Mostly everything is on a time. Like for instance, you're gonna offer on something and you were working on the offer but didn't get it in, but the offer is not due to the next day noon, then you're gonna get your offer in on time. So, because honestly, when you submit that offer, it didn't matter if it was the first offer or the second offer, they're gonna go with the best offer. So if you submitted your offer last and you have the best offer, then you won that one. So there's Flor, multitasking, you see her? But one of the biggest also problems for me, when I was early on in real estate, and I would go to all these classes that would be available, I could not leave my phone alone. Like I was always emailing back and this and that, and I'm trying to listen. And honestly, I would walk out with probably a little part of the class because I didn't listen to it. And because I wasn't listening to it, I didn't process it in order to break it down and fully understand what they're telling you. So, and that's why I listen to the book. I can listen to it one chapter probably 3 times because every time I feel like, oh, and this, and I have more thoughts on it, on how I'm gonna apply it. So I'm trying to get, like, let's think about it like skin. I'm not trying to just do the top, right? Just the top. I want to get into the layers. I really want to absorb it, what we're reading. But let's talk about multitasking. I know she has a lot of tasks.
I multitask a lot.
Yeah.
But it does make sense though, because whenever I multitask, I do miss certain things. Whether it's small things, I do miss things because I'm working on different things. at once.
Right. And so now we're trying to work on time blocking where she's just this. And so we're not like, Julie, do this, Julie, do that, right, Peo, and then, so we're trying to organize that too, because she is doing everything, but like she said, small things can get missed, and then it can be something that could cost us money. And so therefore that time blocking is going to be super important. But I want to hear on Peo on time blocking, because I know Peo doesn't like time blocking.
It's not necessarily not time blocking, it's just that I'm real scattered. So what I started doing more is just putting it in my phone and just blocking it that way. And that way, if it's in my phone, it's blocked. So I've never done that before. I don't know how I made it through life, but
but he's made it. He's made it, yeah.
But I'm doing it now. I'm putting it in there because I don't like it when I tell people I'm going to be somewhere and I'm not there or I miss something. So I started using my phone a lot more. The multitasking, I agree with Erica. It's, when you go into class, you're kind of like by your phone and doing this or doing that and not necessarily giving the class 100% of your attention, and you will miss a lot of stuff, because there's no way that your brain can work like it should with 100%, not, if you want to say commitment to listening and jotting notes and everything on the class. So, and just like Judy said, if she's doing 1,000 things, we all do 1,000 things at one time as well. I know I'm exaggerating 1,000 things, but it feels like it's 1,000 things because your brain can only work on one certain thing at a time. Our brain is not developed to work on 2 different things at a time and give it 100% of your all. So it just takes practice to saying, okay, I'm just going to do this and just work on this, and then I'll work on the other stuff later. So, yeah.
And when he talks about multitasking in the book, he says that term was officially put out to describe a computer, what a computer is doing is that the computer is multitasking because it's running things in the background. So you have one screen up, but then it's running other things. So a computer can do it, but not necessarily us as human. Yeah, it can do it. I'm sorry, there's somebody coming in? Okay, so, but on that note, yeah, the not dividing our attention is important, especially when it's an important class or important client, because that can also happen with clients when you are talking to them about the house, but then you're so overhearing your phone. I would feel like they're not even paying attention to me. They don't really care.
Right.
And the number one thing is to build that rapport with your client and engage, right? So what I usually do is if I'm on the phone, it's because I'm looking up, making sure I have all the information, and I let them know, hey, I'm on my phone, but I'm getting that information. So don't think I'm on Facebook or
Right.
replying. I am there to help you. And I want to make sure that as I'm giving you this information, it's directly from the source. So
Right.
I do tell them that. So because I have felt bad where I'm like this and they're talking to me and I am listening to them. And at the moment I'm like trying to get that answer for them. So then I show them on the phone. Yeah, look here, it says this. So they know they're like, oh, she's on it. Like she's here working and getting the info for me. So just
You
one
have
thing.
gotten better, because I know when I started, I'd talk to you and you're like,
Oh, I would be so.
and I'm like,
distracted.
oh. But no, you are getting better at like
Yeah.
paying attention or doing one thing. at
Or
another.
just putting it down,
Yeah.
right? Just dropping it. So, and for that, but I've known Peo for a long time. I don't know what, 10 years, I don't know how long. And so he used to be really bad at it. Where we would all be out and he's just on it. Peo, you have improved so much. Nilda, can you agree? Because I've noticed that now he's like, oh, he's not on his phone. He didn't touch his phone at all tonight, which is great. Anything more on multitasking?
I was just gonna say, it brings me back to this example you guys gave me. I guess you had an agent before and he was trying to do so much all the time and it like ended up just not working out. Like he couldn't get settled down on just doing one thing and then like it ended up just kind of causing his demise. I always feel that too. And I'm one who cannot multitask. Like if I'm on my phone and I'm texting and you're talking to me, I missed everything you just said. So yeah, that's it was a great eye opener. It's like, yeah, you really should try and just focus in on one thing because multitasking isn't it, or at least not for me. Just the brain isn't wired to work like that.
Right.
You do like a million things at once.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you were living in the cave phase, you would have died.
Yeah, most
Because
definitely.
you're looking at the fire and then you
Yeah, exactly. That'd be me. That'd be me.
And so,
For me with the kids, when it comes to my family life, the boys are trying to talk to me, and if I'm writing a text or a reminder or sending an email to my client, and the boys are talking in the background, I tell them, wait, because I want to focus to what you're telling me, and I'm not listening to you. And I do the same thing to Erica. If you're walking away and you're talking to me, then I'm not listening to you. I need to be looking at you and hearing what you're saying so that I can take in exactly what you're telling me so that I can remember that I need to do this, or just tell you, whatever it was about your day or whatever, But if you're talking to me, you're walking away, I'm not listening to you. You need to talk to me here so I can hear you and look at you. And I don't know if you guys know, but I have a ear issues, and sometimes I have to hear you, like listen to what you're saying, because I don't take in everything sometimes. So it's they know already. Don't talk to me if you're not here standing in front of me. If you're walking down the hall and you're telling me something, I'm not listening to you. You have to be here in front of me.
yeah.
So I am very central. I can't do the multitasking. It's something that I have to work on, but actually it's actually a better thing that I don't have that, because I don't put so many things on my plate at one time.
That's a good way to put it. What he said is, if I'm here, because I do this a lot. If I'm here and I'm typing away and Nilda's there and she starts saying something, I'm zoned here,
Yeah.
and then did you hear what I just hear? So I stopped. Once she says that, I'm like, oh, what did I miss?
What did I miss?
Yeah. But that's your key. That's like throwing a chocolate at you. Did you hear what I just hear?
Yeah.
And then I say, no, I was here.
Yeah.
you know. But the other thing Robert's trying to do, I don't know if y'all know this, but he went to the VA to trying to get his benefits up. So that's why he's telling y'all that he can't hear from this ear. He wants, he's trying to get his benefits. He wants to get his benefits up.
Our witnesses, yeah. For sure. And then, you know, Peo and I were doing the Texas Realtor Leadership Program, and the number one thing before we even got into anything else, we did an exercise about listening. And listening, why? Because that's the number one thing that we try to multitask. Oh, yeah, we're gonna listen, but we're gonna do this. So they want our phones put away. Our phones are put away for like 3-4 hours at a time before we can actually get back to them. So I just forward my calls to Robert. So like, you handle them. But the exercise was really interesting. We paired up. And so first, one person has to be talking like a real interesting story, and then the other person has to do everything they can to avoid listening. Like you're pretending to listen, but you're maybe moving over here, waving at someone, or you're on your phone. And so we had to act this stuff out. And then we had to reverse it, right? The other person do the opposite and so forth. But it had it, and then the question was, how did it make you feel? Like, well, yeah, the person doesn't care. Like, they're not engaged at all. And I'm talking, and sometimes they like, okay, they'll agree, but not. But it was an exercise to let you know that you have to either listen or do the other thing. You can't, or you have to practice on that one part, which made sense because they want us to really, really listen in what we're doing. Yeah. Right.
And yeah, two things that just reminded me. One of the things that Robert was talking about, and we talked about this in class, was like when your kids come talk to you, your wife comes talk to you, you know, you can, there was 2 ways that I remember that he said you could do it. You know, just stop what you're doing right there and put your phone down and give them your undivided attention, or tell them, look, give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna finish this, and then you can have me for 30 minutes because I'll be done with this. You know, so there's 2 ways of handling what Robert was talking about that I remember. And then the other thing that Erica was talking about right now was the assignment that we had, and this is bad because I only heard half the assignment. You know, I only heard half the assignment, and I was ready to slap the girl that I was telling my story to. You know, I'm like, these kids ain't listening to me.
That's her assignment.
Yeah, I'm like, this rude ass.
That's what happens when you don't listen.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, because she was doing all this and I'm saying, and then she kind of looked, and I'm like, bitch ain't listening to me. I'm gonna slap her ass. She's not doing the assignment. You know, but that goes back and tells you exactly how it makes you feel, because it made me feel exactly how she wanted me to feel. But and that's true in life as well. You know, when you do that stuff, you know, that's exactly how they feel. So I played my part real good, you know, because it hit me where it wanted to hit me, but I didn't know it was supposed to be done that way.
That's the assignment. Yeah, which was really, really good, and to make you aware of what you're doing, right? Your behavior, and that you are trying to multitask, because it's not going to work. One of the other stories from this last time that we met, we all got to share of what we took in from the first retreat that we went to, and one of the ladies was talking about that part about the listening and being present in the moment, and was regarding her children, that they would be talking to her, and then her phone would ring, everybody would just be quiet, and then just like,
Oh, they're
wait.
accustomed to it.
Yes, and she's like, oh my God, she felt like bad, like it just dawned on her right there and then. My
that made me
children
feel
know
bad.
that I can't pay attention to them while I'm on the phone, so everybody just, you know, which is great. I mean, the children are really being respectful, and okay, my mom needs her time, but she was like, nope, I'm not. We're talking. We're not going to stop what we're doing because my phone rings. And so she took that in, and it really hit home to her, and she opened her. It was an eye opener for her, which is great. So
That's how she is though. Who knows if like my laptop is open, leave
You're
mommy
busy.
alone. Yeah.
yeah. Anybody else want to chime in on multitasking with the information in the book?
Well, just in general, I think multitasking has been a misconception of my life. Like the most I do, the better person I am, or the more valuable I am. I'm talking about my family and in general. Like I'm always doing like five things at least at the same time, and it's been my lifestyle. And like Compadre Pedro says, we need to adjust again, readjust and do. Not to, I'm not that I'm not gonna do the rest, but use time blocking or concentrate on one thing. Because especially me, I have problems like focusing one thing because my mind is like spinning around and 20 other things, and I need to learn that skill.
Yes, for sure.
But that is true. It is something that as society, we're trained to think that like anywhere you go, it's better if you're a multitasker because you're able to do more. But then it's like, but are you able to do more correctly, or do you have to redo stuff because you're doing so much?
You're just making yourself busy, not
Yeah.
productive. Yes.
Right.
I
There's a
agree.
difference between busy and
And
But
productive.
that's so weird though, because most jobs you go to, they're like, oh, we want a multitasker. You have to multitask. Like on their listings, it says you have to be able to multitask.
Yeah.
It does say that, handle multiple things, you know.
That's,
And it says that now you can handle doing multiple things, but not all at once.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
first I gotta do this, I'm gonna focus only on this. Then I'll do this, but don't be trying to tell me to do 3 different things at one time because it's not gonna work. But on that note, when I'm listening to it, I start thinking about jokes and different stories to apply. And one of it is because I can't drive and be talking to you. And it's the same thing for me. Like I'm trying to drive, especially if I'm in traffic. It's hard for me to really engage in the conversation. And when they ask me something, I'm like, what did they just ask me? Now I'm driving. So one of the jokes that came into my head is a George Lopez one where he's talking about the low riders and the car and how he's driving. They have like a cigarette and they have the music real loud, but then they have to parallel park. It turns down all the volume to back up and to focus. And then he does like this because it was like those big old folk cars. So I don't know why that comes to my mind because it's like, hey, he couldn't multitask either. He couldn't. He had to.
You know, it's funny thing you say that because I used to do the same thing.
With
too.
the volume.
Well, it was not only when you're parking or something, it's like when I would like see a police officer or something,
Oh.
growing up younger, I'd be like, oh fuck, let me make sure that I'm turning the right way. I put my blinker on the right way, you know, because I would see something and I could not do both things at one time. So it's funny you said that because
Yeah.
it's so true.
It's true. So.
Dan, I think said had something to add.
Dan?
you know, that's one of the big things, and I didn't write it down, but that seems to be one of the big things that I fail at, and I think most people fail at, is just trying to focus on so many things at once, you don't get anything accomplished. You know, it's like he's saying, narrow it down. If you've got a list of 25 things, keep narrowing it to the one thing. Most people get up, I guess, and make a to-do list of things they can do when there's things down the list that are what they should be doing, not what they can be doing. So you're focusing on all of these different things, doing them at once, and you're failing at every one of them. You're just giving yourself more opportunities to fail at different things instead of just failing, you know, focusing on that one thing that's going to do the most good.
The most good, exactly. Yeah.
The jack of all trades with master of none.
Yeah.
Right. You're just, you know, you're all over the place. And from what I took in from the reading is that people just cannot do two things at once other than, you know, chewing gum and walking. But if you're doing two fairly complex actions, then you're not focusing on either one. You're not going to accomplish either one. So I don't know, that may be wrong the way I took it, but that's what I seem to gather. You can waste a lot of time
Right,
There's a
trying to
quote
do
in
too
here
many
that
things.
says, yeah, there's a quote in here that says multitasking is merely the opportunity to screw up more than one thing at a time. And I think that's exactly where you're going with that.
That's exactly the sentence I'm talking about, right?
yeah, for sure.
I can't remember if it was in this chapter or the next one where it talks about once you get one thing done, that one habit, and you have it formed, then you can build upon the next habit. So that way those tasks don't become so burdensome because you've already mastered one. Now you go and you master the next one. And then obviously you'll be able to be more effective as you master each of those skill sets. But you have to do those habits first and make them make them habits, yes.
Does anybody remember how many days it takes to make it habit?
66.
Yes.
Yes, correct, Dan.
Good job, Dan.
66. Now let's talk about that, because that's in the next chapter about talking about living a self-disciplined life. And the myth is that successful people are super self-disciplined. That would make them like robots, right? Because they're so disciplined, but it's actually, that's not true. It is just that they have certain habits that they either already knew to do because they were instilled in them by maybe parents or so forth, or they worked on establishing those habits because those are the habits that would make them the most successful. So it can have one habit that's great, but then they can also have bad habits. So they're not disciplined. They just do those certain things really good because they've practiced and it's become a habit ingrained in them now. I can tell you that I've been working on habit forming, and sometimes I don't do what I need to do. One of them is still waking up early. And so but I'm always like, nope, I gotta keep trying, you know? And when I don't do it, I feel bad. And that's another thing too, is like, I just tell Robert, I'm not gonna feel bad about, I'm gonna do another day and I'm gonna keep working at it. And I think that's the only way until you master it, right? Practice makes perfect. But that was on that last chapter. Do you have more on the self-discipline chapter?
I thought it was really interesting. I didn't know that stuff about Michael Phelps. He's one of the most decorated Olympians, and he has a problem with focusing, but I thought that was so interesting to hear what he has done to be able to master his discipline, you know, the habit forming, doing the things on constantly all the time, repetitive. And he had ADHD. So I found that really interesting. I think that, you know, when one teacher's telling you, oh, he's not going to be successful, that's so bad. You know what she said about him. He has no discipline. Well, it's just how to focus. And so when he worked with that teacher and that trainer, he was able to develop that skill set, and then he became the master of that. I mean, later on we found out he had performance enhancements, but I think still he was able to form really great habits to become a great Olympian. I mean, I think it's still something that he was able to achieve, and I thought that was really a cool fact about him that I didn't know.
I think that was really,
those habits.
it was really cool that, you know, he decided he would train 7 days a week because everyone else was taking Sundays off, and he got an extra 52 days of training throughout the year by working Sunday as well. Just incredible discipline, 6 hours a day, you know, 365. Unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. So he worked, whatever his weakness was, he made it a strength. So he worked on that weakness, which I thought, you know, when you do that, and he developed it into being his habit and strength. So he worked harder than others. But go ahead, anything more?
But I didn't write the rest of them.
No. Well, I think Julie has really good habits. And so, because she goes to the gym at 4 a.m. in the morning.
No, I wake up at around 4:20, 4:25, and then I get like my bags ready. Then I wake up Layla around 5-ish, and we're out the house by like 6:30, 6:30 the latest, and I go straight to the gym, so it makes it easier to come over here.
Okay. So,
but I haven't, since Carlos has a messed up leg. I have to babysit him.
Yeah. Okay. Anything on the?
Yeah, I got several notes on that chapter. One of them that stood out to me is that he said, when you have your will, you will have your way. You know, so just concentrate and be disciplined. You know, discipline. Willpower has limited supply. You know, one of the things is that he said during that chapter was, willpower is not there all day long. You know, it has a short life. So he said that the best time to use that willpower is early morning, when there's nothing in your mind, your energy should be high at that point. use whatever you're gonna, best use of your time to use your willpower is early morning. A good example of that phrase that he says, willpower has limited supplies, is when you look at people that are doing diets, they have a cheat day, because their willpower can only go so long. So they incorporate a cheat day so they can rejuvenate that willpower to be able to, handle the other 6 of the 7 days during the week. So they incorporated the cheat day for themselves in order to have will work for them on their behalf. Another thing, you are what you eat, and that just goes back to discipline. If you discipline your mind to say, hey, this is what I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna eat healthy and stuff like that. What's another thing that stuck out?
Don't mess with my food, compadre.
Yeah, so that was some of the notes that I took for that chapter.
Okay. So for me, like, I think Ileana's super disciplined when that's what she gives off to me. She's super disciplined when it comes to her schoolwork, because she's in here and she's working, and she's about to get her master's degree. Like, damn, she's really disciplined. Ileana, how much discipline do you have? Are you a perfectly disciplined person?
I said that, but I think everything else, no. I'm trying to get there though. That's yeah, because I think
Can you repeat
hear
it,
me
'cause it
okay?
broke up.
Now we can.
Now you can, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't really have good service here. Oh, school wise, yeah. Do you want me to type it in the chat?
No, it's like at times, like when you're about
Hello?
to explain, you start sounding like a robot.
We can hear you good now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So school wise, I am very disciplined, but I think everything else, no. But I think it goes back to multitasking. I try to like super focus on one thing and do good at that. And then I got to move on to the other thing I try to discipline myself in. So right now, since school's done, I'm gonna try to get back to working every day and eating a little better.
Okay. So she's not super disciplined, but she seems like
they
it.
don't want us to know
But her
her
schoolwork
secret.
is that one thing.
Yeah, she's super, but that one thing makes her seem like, oh, she must have everything in order, right? But that's not the way that her habit is or what she likes to do is definitely learn. She took herself off.
But
She
that-
probably
but
crashed.
that's her
She probably
priority.
crashed.
That's her priority for sure.
That's her
Yes.
priority, which is the one thing, which is part of the book,
But,
is that's
yeah.
the one thing, that's what she's sticking to get to the end.
Yes.
Once she gets to that, then it'll be something else.
Yes, yes. And so that also, when he's talking about forming habits, I already bought this other book called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. So I'm already working on that book. But if it's all about having the right habits, then what are those habits, right? So then I'm trying to focus on what other is there to learn to form better habits. I know we picked up some from the first book, which was the Miracle Morning. There was habits there that was focused on waking up early and starting your day and putting those habits into place, meditating or reflection. And I thought that was a good book for that purpose of waking up that morning and trying to push yourself to be successful.
Fun fact, the whole manifesting and meditation and everything, just like Peo said, if you do your meditation between the first 15 to 20 minutes that you wake up, that's when your mind is like the most powerful, because it's so clear. It's before you've gotten into any like just random little humps throughout the day. Like, your mind is the best to meditate and manifest within the first 20 minutes of you waking up.
Okay.
You're at a higher frequency because there's nothing that has pissed you off yet. Or nothing that like you're thinking of, like for work, like you're still waking up. So you're still in that transition of, I'm still calm, I'm still like waking up. That's the best time. Sometimes you may fall asleep, but it's okay, just stay focused.
Yeah, and so that's where you tap into that willpower, like also Peo said in the morning. Yeah. Anybody else want to share, Dan, on live the disciplined life? What would you say is your best habit?
Say again, Erica?
What would you say is a habit that you have that is like your best habit?
That's a toughie right there. I've gotten into such a bad routine of not focusing on things like what's in this book, you know, just getting all spun out over everything and not really getting to what matters, you know. So that's a lot of I think my issue is just focusing and again on things in this book, and you know, be a great help, I think, just to focus.
Got it. Okay.
He did say that there's lots of highly successful people in this world, and we believe that they have it all put together, just like we believe that Ileana has all her ducks in a row with her school and you know, in life, I guess, because we see how focused she is on certain habits that she's created for herself. But he did say that there are several highly successful people that they don't have it all put together. They just have selected discipline. So when you have the selective discipline to do those habits that are going to create more success for you, then you always repeat those, and you'll be able to make that those adjustments in your life to be more focused on the selected disciplines to create or to be more disciplined about certain things in your life. So just you don't have to do all of them, but just do the right ones, and you'll learn what those are when it comes to real estate or even in your personal life. So that way you can, you know, improve where you need to improve.
Yes. Alex, you want to chime in on
Sure, on discipline.
that? Yeah, well, the myth is that, yeah, that's the myth, but your habits. What
So
habits
I
have you?
guess just good habits that I have, I wish I also have the same issue of like not being a morning person. My sugar bum wakes up at around like 6 a.m. She goes to work now at like 5 a.m. And so when she's like staying over, she's like, when she's staying over, she's up at like 6 and I won't get up until like 9:30.
Oh,
There's like 3 hours where she's just sitting there either reading or, you know, doing her thing. She's got it figured out. And I'm just trying to catch up, right? So I guess that's one habit that I want to work on. I guess the thing that I really try to take my work seriously. So I'm up, and when I'm up, like the first thing I'm doing is going through emails. I'm starting to text leads. I'm starting to call leads when I get into the office. I guess that's one thing I do have down that's pretty good. Especially if it's like Monday through Friday, I definitely try to get everything done when it comes to work. I try to prioritize. And I think I have my priorities in line. It's just bad habits of like staying up late. That's a habit that kills me now. Really does. I think that what I do really well is I try to prioritize my things, and I do try to get things done in a certain way, whether it be, you know, lead generation or follow up. Those are the main things I try to hit. But obviously there's things that I need to work on that I'd love to make habits to be better. And it's definitely waking up early. Oh, I guess I like to exercise a lot. That's been a good habit I've been doing.
What time do you exercise now?
I exercise probably 6 p.m. 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you take any like pre-workouts or anything?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, maybe that's what's making you go to sleep late.
Strictly on rage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way
Yeah.
to release the maker.
Well, I can tell you that even though we haven't mastered this habit, we are waking up a lot earlier. We used to wake up really late. And for me, really late is like 8 o'clock. That's late. And 9 o'clock, we're barely getting moving. And our workday starts at 10. But I formed that habit because that's how, when new home sells, I didn't have to be in the office until 10 o'clock. So I would stay out late, you know, or stay up late, Alex. And that habit became, you know, like second nature. I did it for 10 years, and you constantly do that. And I realized I formed this bad habit. And so she was in that habit with me because I didn't have to be at work until 10 o'clock. So we went in later than most people. But now, I think for the past year, we have been waking up between, by the 6 o'clock, we're awake, the alarm's up, and then we're moving and we're getting out of bed. So that habit has kind of gone away. So we're trying to develop the discipline now to, okay, once we get up, let's start doing these things. And so I have a horrible habit that I don't like dishes in the sink. When I wake up in the morning, I see dishes in the sink. I want them put away. I want them clean. So I start working on housework versus focusing on going to the gym or going into the, our gym at the house that we created. We moved from going to a gym to having a gym at the house so that we can work out more. And we're not even doing that sometimes. But when we started the book a couple of months ago, the first one, and creating these the habits and stuff and meditating and all that actually helped improve it. So we're actually doing a lot better than what we did a year ago or even 10 years ago when I was doing that, New Home Sales. So I think that she lost track of the fact that, and she is about her list, and she's like, well, we're not getting up early enough, and I have all these things to do. Well, in order to be able to, so now
That's my strength. Though.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
That's good discipline.
Yeah. So now I say, okay, well, if I'm going to empty out the dishwasher and put in the dishes from the sink because they didn't get done the night before by my kids, then I have to wake up earlier and get that done. So that way it doesn't interfere with the other routines that we want to put in place and the other disciplines and the habits that we want to form to be able to actually go to the gym and work out. Last week we rode almost all week. We took one day off. And so those habits are starting to form. We're starting to get into that 60-day thing where, we're barely in day 10 right now of the 66. So I think that we'll get there, but it's a whole lot improvement from last year and our prior years where we were trying to form those habits and we just never got disciplined at them. That's where a bit of real talk from what we're having to deal and experience in our house, with the aspect of getting in shape and trying to do form those healthy habits.
But that's what you want. You want to improve.
Yeah.
So even if it's like an hour earlier, it's
It's
better
an
than
improvement.
last year. It's an improvement. But it also helps just in case you don't have like a reason to, that's what helps getting up early, having a reason to. Like Kale likes doing the metal detecting. So he gets up early for that. I like doing the gym just because it helps release some stress. So I do that.
Stress do we put on her?
No, it's mainly the other one because she's going through her hormones already at an age where she's like bipolar, happy, mad. So it's like, okay, let me release it here so that I'm calm for her and help her focus on how to react to things.
Yeah. So, well, I think it all goes back to the first beginning of the book, small steps. Start small. So we try to start at 5 in the morning. That's just so early. So okay, well, let's do 6. We have been consistently being able to do 6 a.m. So once we get that going, I think then we're like, okay, let's do 5:30, so little by little, and then from there form it. But definitely always working towards it, not just quit altogether. I think even if you mess it up, just start over again and keep going. Yeah, try, right? Yeah, try. Yeah. So I know it's past, I said 45 minutes, but we've gone over, but it was a good discussion. So let's continue. Flor, hit the book.
I will.
There's a PDF too.
Oh, there's a free PDF?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes.
Maybe share it with her.
Share it. You're part of the Facebook group, Flor?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I also email, we can email any
I
resources
think
out as
Nelson
well.
commented on the Facebook,
The audio.
reading the audio, the free audio, it's on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
I think Alex is going to share it with you, Flor.
I'm about to post it on Facebook.
Oh, he'll post it on the
Okay.
Facebook group so you get it. And Dan, you have the paperback, correct?
He's got the PDF now.
Yeah, I just used the PDF.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we're gonna close up because I know everybody has other things to do. But thank you for joining and reading, and let's read on. It gets really interesting further in the book, and it gets a lot more detailed on. Then we're actually going to be writing down some goals, most important in each section. So it gets a lot more technical. But here's just kind of opening up our brains so the information can soak in. Yeah. So,
I
alrighty.
will say I like this one better than Miracle Morning.
Yeah?
He's not promoting himself through the whole.
Oh, I
the whole
know.
book.
Yeah.
The
So I do
miraclemorning.com.
like
Yeah.
this. I like this one a whole lot better.
Great. Awesome. And he's one of the very successful brokers or,
This guy?
yeah, he is
Yeah.
Gary Keller. From Keller,
Okay.
yeah. So, you know, he wrote other books that he has shared his knowledge of how he became successful. And I think that's great. So we have a lot to learn from. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else? Closing notes?
No, have a good weekend.
Have
Be
a good
safe.
weekend.
and,
Thank you, everyone.
Sounds good.
Heyo, Robert, Erica, thank you so much. Great information.
Absolutely.
Have a
Absolutely.
great
Bye,
weekend.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.